Welcome to DSEJ Home Classes, an attempt to connect learner with instructor, a digital initiative by Directorate of School Education, Jammu. Myself, Senior Lecturer Anjuman Shaheen from District Poonch. Hello, my dear students. Today I start my topic with these beautiful lines. It is important how we view the youth of our nation. To simply consider them as new age voters will be a big mistake. They are the new age power. The topic I am going to teach you today is Unit 5 of your English text, Chinar 1 for class 11. Youth and the Tasks Ahead, written by Dr. Karan Singh, one of the leading political and social figures in our country. Dear students, before I start the topic, let us have an introduction about the writer. Dr. Karan Singh, born on 9th March 1931, is an Indian politician, philanthropist and poet. He belongs to Jamwal Dogra dynasty and son of Maharaja Hari Singh. He worked closely as a teenager with Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel during the founding of Republic of India. In 1967, became the youngest ever Union Minister in the government of Indira Gandhi. He was a Prince Regent of Jammu and Kashmir till 1952. One of the leading political and social figures in our country, Karan Singh has held various positions of importance as Cabinet Minister, Member of Parliament, Ambassador and also as Chancellor of Jammu and Kashmir University and Banaras Hindu University. As an environmentalist, he has also been the chairman of Indian Board of Wildlife. The long list of Singh's publications include Autobiography in 1989, Essays on Hinduism 1987, Hymn to Shiva and other poems in 1991 and Mountain of Shiva in 1994. This is about the introduction of the writer who has written Youth and the Tasks Ahead. Introduction. It is a well-known fact that the youth of any country is a great asset. They are indeed the future of country and represent it at every level. The intelligence and work of youth will take the country towards success. The youth play a vital role in the constructive process of building social cohesion, economic prosperity and political stability in a nation in an inclusive and democratic way. The involvement of youth in nation building process is must as they play one of the most important roles for the upliftment of their nation. Here I start to explain Youth and the Tasks Ahead. It is written by Dr. Karan Singh. In this passage, he discusses the important role that the Indian youth has to play in the process of nation building. India won freedom after centuries of slavery to foreign rule, and it required great struggle and sacrifice. Our youth who belong to the post-independence generation should know that maintaining freedom and strengthening it further is more difficult task. The youth forms the vanguard in most fields of activities. Its power must be mobilized to strengthen our capacity to resist aggression. This is possible if Our youth have idealism and energy to safeguard our great nation founded on the ideals of secularism and democracy. Our school, colleges, and university students constitute a great reservoir of strength. If their strength is properly mobilized and channelized, they can become a great source of power to our nation. They are the further leaders of our country. They must therefore train and discipline themselves to fulfill their future duties and obligations with success and effectiveness. A mere desire to be of service is not enough. This desire must be strengthened by the ability to serve the nation. There are many fields in which our youth must prepare themselves fully. The first is the physical dimension. Our youth must be physically strong. They must have muscles of iron. Their nerves must be of steel. To this end, our young men and women must undertake physical training and development physical fitness to the maximum possible extent. The defense of a nation is a matter of great endurance and physical courage. Though there are many advances in the field of technology, the NCC, the Physical Fitness Scheme, and other similar organizations have a great role in building up the strength of our nation. Along with physical fitness, the qualities of discipline and teammanship and corporate progress are essential. Without discipline and teammanship, corporate progress is not possible. The second dimension is intellectual. Our youth must know that if they are intellectual mediocres, they can't compete with the youth of the world. They must be far more alert and capable than their successors. They must aim at academic ability of the highest order so that they can serve India with great efficiency. In this context, the uselessness after getting involved in party politics must be known to them. The third dimension in which our youth must be fully equipped is patriotism. Dr. Karan Singh wants the youth of India to understand the deeper meaning of patriotism, which creates in them a strong desire for national unity and progress. This can remove corruption and nepotism from India. This alone can activate the process of economic development. Such development is crucial to the success of our democracy. Karan Singh quotes Shri Aurobindo Ghosh, who once said, "You will earn your living so that you may do service to your nation, work that she may prosper, suffer that she may rejoice." It is proper time for Indian youth to serve India selflessly, to ensure her growth, development, progress, unity, and harmonious living. Finally, Karan Singh stresses the spiritual dimension. Our youth must possess a new spiritual fervor to help them become fearless and dynamic enough to get over all difficulties. Our youth must cut across all narrow barriers and distinctions of faith, religion, and communities. The principle of individual divinity and spiritual evolution transcends even national barriers. It alone can give us the courage to fight for our freedom and integrity. It alone can give us the wisdom to fight for our freedom and integrity without hatred and violence. National service is a continuing process. Our youth must be ready to take part in what Jawaharlal Nehru used to call the great adventure of nation building. It is through the solid and devoted activity of the youth that the fabric of great nation can be built. There is much to be done. Civil defense measures to be strengthened in urban and rural areas. A network of nursing first aid and blood bank centers are to be established. The welfare of the brave security forces has to be furthered and their dependents to be provided a healing touch of comfort. Communal harmony has to be ensured and economic development is to be speeded up. Poverty and ignorance will have to be removed from the pockets of areas where they still exist. Our democratic frame has to be strengthened. These and many other problems confronting us cannot be solved, and our motherland cannot be built into a strong nation unless our youth are involved actively in the whole process of corporate progress. Our youth must try hard to get impetus to such endeavors as are being made to strengthen India as a democratic nation in the modern nuclear age. At last, I want to say our youth must be patriots in the deeper sense, striving for peace and communal harmony. They must struggle to overcome fanaticism, bigotry, and parochialism to help the cause of national unity and emotional integration. You must strengthen the bonds of love and cooperation among Indians without letting any prejudice poison their minds. Once they forget difference of faith and religion and looked upon themselves as Indians, they will be able to suffer and sacrifice so that India rejoices and prospers. Here is vocabulary portion in your textbook at page 50. Study the words given against each of the head words below. While two of them are synonyms with the head word, one is not. You have to identify the odd one and underline it. First, head word is competent. Able, disable and capable. Able and capable. These are the meaning of this head word competent, and the odd one is disable. Second is pulsating, which means throbbing and vibrating. Terrifying is the odd one. Galvanize, encourage and inspire. These are having same meaning, and discourage is the odd one. Valor, courage and bravery have same meaning, and encourage is the odd one. Defeatist, dispirited, dejected have the same meaning, and hopeful is odd one. Ingenuity, cleverness, originality. Hopelessness is the odd word. Turbulent, chaotic and disorderly. These are synonyms, and organized is the odd one. Here is the grammar portion in your textbook. What clause for emphasis? What clause is a type of noun class that begins with the word what. In a declarative sentence, one of the most common applications are these clauses, which function as noun, may serve as a subject or object of a sentence. It can be used to add emphasis and rhythm. We can use a clause beginning with what to give extra emphasis. Rewrite the statements below beginning with a what clause. Make any other changes necessary. The removal of corrupt officials from all government offices is required for their smooth functioning. We have to change it into what clause. What is required is the removal of corrupt officials from all government offices for their smooth functioning. Second one is more night shelters are needed to save the poor from dying of cold. What is needed are more night shelters to save the poor from dying of cold. She needs to consult a doctor immediately since she is so ill. What she immediately needs is to consult a doctor since she is so ill. Fourth one is she needs to take a break from work and get away from this place. And we will change it into what clause by using what. What she needs is to take a break from work and get away from this place. Last one. I am trying to tell you that we need to be cautious in our approach. What I am trying to tell you is that we need to be cautious in our approach. These are the sentences. We change these sentences into what clause. Look at the study skill at page 54 on your textbook. Here are some idiomatic phrases used in the English language with the word give, and I have written the correct meaning of these idiomatic phrases. Give it a shot. It means to try out something. To give a free hand independently. To allow someone to make his decisions. Give it your all. It means to try as hard as you can to succeed. Give the cold shoulder. It means to be intentionally unfriendly. Give as good as you get to gain points against your critics while defending yourself. Give someone the sack. It means to dismiss someone from job. Give somebody a buzz. To telephone someone. Give somebody a rough time. It means to make things difficult for someone. These are the correct meaning of these phrases. Hope you will be able to use these idiomatic phrases to complete the passage given in your textbook at page 54. Dear students, work hard, be kind, and amazing things will happen to you.